Hi, everybody. Welcome to House Polished. We're back after a long time. And thank you so much to everybody who's shown up so far in the chat. This is amazing. There's Bubba, Johnny, Mackenzie, Danny, Ertak. Who else is there? Catherine's there. Sunny's there. Did I miss anyone? Mackenzie? Did I say Mackenzie? I think I got everybody. If I haven't, just wave at me in the chat and I'll see you. So thank you so much. Guys, we're going to keep... I know that you've seen about 1 million live streams at this stage, including one with me and Claire, where we talked about what we think is going to happen in season 8. But we want to keep this... oh, Sunshine and Silver Arrows here. Thank you so much. The time stamp God. Thank you so much. And I have kind of a list of questions, but we're kind of going to keep it loosey-goosey and just kind of get lots of excitement going in the chat. And hopefully between us, I'm just very excited to be hanging out with these beautiful women again. So this is like what I'm living for now for every Saturday. In season 8, nearly said season 7. So we'll say hi to Claire first, and then we'll go to Lisa. So Claire, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm really getting quite excited now. I think, as I was saying last week, it just hit me last week, but this week it's because lots of other people are talking about it that I wouldn't normally talk to about Game of Thrones, and I'm like, oh right, you're watching it as well. Right, okay, yeah, people at work and things. So I'm really, really starting to get excited about it. I'm trying to think about how I can do the scheduling around the ridiculous 2 a.m. airing in the UK. I can record it and watch it first thing in the morning, but it's around Easter and things like that. So there's going to be a couple of bank holidays where I can stay up late and watch it and not have to go into work the next day. But yeah, I'm just really excited now.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that as well. And this is good because Lisa, a lot of you guys won't know Lisa, but Lisa is going to keep us in check and keep us off book script and keep us on TV show script, because Lisa only watches the show. So Lisa, introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hi guys, I'm Lisa. I'm so excited to be doing this again with Catherine and Claire. The last season that we did was so much fun. It was great to have somebody to talk to about it, because the only other person who watches Game of Thrones that I know is my dad. And I mean, he reads the books too, though. So, but yeah, I'm really excited for the season. I just finished rewatching last season last night, so it's like fresh in my mind, and I can't wait to just see what's going to happen. Next weekend or first the weekend after?
Next weekend?
The 7th, yeah. Oh God, I'm so excited.
A TV baby and AJ and Faye here. Hi guys, thank you so much. And yes, I did hit 100 subscribers, so thank you so much. I didn't realize that until the chat told me, so thank you. I recently just watched season 7 as well, and I forgot a lot of season 7. Like, I think I know so much, but I forgot loads. Did you get a chance to watch it, Claire? Did you get a chance to watch season 7?
No, I've not rewatched it at all. No, I'm just kind of going off memory, really.
Yeah. So guys, if you have any questions in the chat that you'd particularly like us to talk about or whatever, or throw questions into the chat that you want the chat to discuss, that's good as well. But I kind of made a list of questions, and I think Claire probably has some, maybe Lisa has some as well. But my first question for you guys is, what reunion are you most looking forward to?
Oh.
So Lisa, what are you looking forward to?
Might be an unpopular opinion, but I really can't wait to see Gendry and Arya back together.
Yeah.
I really can't wait for that.
I forgot all about them, actually. They haven't
seen each other since what? I can't remember what season it was, but I really can't wait to see those guys back together, because they had quite their relationship, and the banter was pretty good between the two of them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And Claire?
I think I'm looking forward to the slightly awkward reunions. So Tyrion and Jaime, see how they get on as brothers, what the relationship's going to be like after that massive separation and the way things ended. Although I'm not going to keep going on about the books, but in the TV show that was softened up quite a bit. It was much more harsh how they separated in the books, Lisa. So I don't know, that I imagine that they'll just hug it out, and they'll be all sort of brotherly love again, I'm sure. I'm kind of looking again the awkward reunions. I think Jorah Mormont and Lyanna Mormont will be an awkward reunion. Who else?
Jamie and Bran will be pretty awkward.
You know who I'm looking forward to the most, I think, and I hope that they handle this sensitively. Tyrion and Sansa.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be my most anticipated, I think.
I'm going to be a total basic bitch and say Arya and Jon. I'm really looking forward to that. Hi, Mara Jade and Ellen Moore. Thank you so much for coming by. And T Baby wants to know, who do we think the first major character will be to die? T Baby in with the jolly questions as usual. We love them, T Baby. Keep them coming.
Well, it's going to be in the north, I think. Mm-hmm. Predicting it's going to be. I think there's going to be deaths in every episode. I would imagine it's going to be pretty fast paced and pretty brutal. So I don't know. I really haven't seen that many spoilers. I've seen the trailers and the promo clips, but so I don't know. I don't know what's happening. All I know is that the big battle is going to be at Winterfell. Is going to be like in the middle, so episode 3. So that's all I know. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of build up to that, though.
Well, I mean, maybe the first death might be a miscarriage if Cersei doesn't have that baby. So that might actually be like the first. It's not a major character, but
yeah.
I kind of think Varys is not long for this world.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah,
I don't see the point. I mean, there's that amazing promo shot of him like wrapped in fur, and I just wanted him to be clutching a pearl necklace or something because it was just so dramatic. T Baby wants this season to break us. Thanks, T Baby. AJ says something tells me a lot of these reunions won't happen because a lot of folks will die early on. Dun dun dun. Thank you very much. Thanks. That's great. I don't want to think of episode 1 being full of deaths, but what do you think, Lisa?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. Like, I'm looking at the list of the characters that you had for your major characters. Like, I don't want any of these people to die except maybe the Night King, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like none of them, hopefully. But there's going to be deaths. It's Game of Thrones. As long as it's not Jon, Dany, or Tyrion, I'm fine.
Yes, Lisa's going to be on my side, Claire. Claire wants Jon and Dany to die, just in case you didn't know, Lisa.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm going to mute myself and let you fight that one out. Major characters. I can't see any. I could be totally wrong, but I can't see anyone too major. I can't see a major person go out in the first episode. Not unless it's Tormund, T Baby, or somebody up at the wall. Oh. Shots fired. Sorry, T Baby. Hi, Meridian. Thanks for coming by. Varys. Sorry, Johnny. You're not Varys. You're Johnny Be Crazy. Johnny Be Crazy wants to know how will Arya and Varys get on. There's a few people on Arya's list that she's going to be seeing for the first time, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see, because Mel as well is going to show up at some stage. Mm-hmm. Beric Dondarrion, wasn't Beric on her list? I feel like Beric was on her list.
To be honest, I can't remember who's still left on her list.
I don't think Beric was on the list.
I thought they were, because they sold Gendry to. I thought like the Red Woman and Dondarrion. Guys, can you help me out in the chat? Am I right about that?
T Baby said he was on the list. Was that just the TV list, T Baby? Because I think that was different from the book one.
Yeah. And T Baby thinks Dolores Ed. Yeah, I know Dolores Ed. I don't want him to die. Dolores Ed. I don't want him to die either. I love him. But yeah, I think we are going to lose like those kind of nice characters. I don't think we'll lose Tormund. I don't think they'll get rid of him that early.
There's bound to be I don't know, maybe just a few second shot of like the wall just completely decimating the remaining members of the Night's Watch, apart from the key people like Dolores and maybe Dolores Ed, and maybe there'll be like a big dramatic moment there as they're escaping, but I can't see many of them surviving at the wall, really.
Johnny brings up a good point, because this is something that Macy Williams has mentioned in an interview, that season 1 is going to be instrumental for, there's going to be a lot of callbacks for this last season, which we'd expect. But Johnny says she didn't know Varys's name to put him on the list. I think she will recognize his voice, because there is that scene in season 1 where Arya is hiding in the crypts. Now, that's information that's crucial for Dany to know, and we did have that last season with Dany where she made Varys like promise not to betray her. And even though he's not necessarily betraying her in the crypts, the fact that he was with Illyria and she doesn't know that, right? Dany isn't aware of that. So that could be an interesting if they use that could be an interesting callback as well. So so the next question I had, it's that Bubba just asked, would she recognize Varys's voice? I think Arya is pretty savvy. I think she might recognize him. So my second question revolved around babies. I mean, this is the big chat, right? So Lisa, what are your thoughts on babies?
Well, I think it's practically a given that Dany is pregnant, just because it was shoved down our throats in the season finale.
That's what she said.
Catherine,
sorry. Oh my goodness. Are we turning into one of those live streams? Oh my goodness.
This channel's not monetized. It's fine.
But yeah, I think it's pretty much a guarantee that she's pregnant. Whether or not she'll live to see the baby born is another question. And as with Cersei, I don't think she's gonna. I think she'll have a miscarriage, something like that. So it's really hard to say if we'll actually see any babies.
There's another baby. There's baby Sam as well.
Oh, that's right. I always forget about baby Sam.
I think a lot of people do, and like everybody's convinced that the Night's King is coming south for Bran, and I'm not like that. It could easily be baby Sam, right? Claire, you kind of
completely. I was just going to add that to the baby conversation. Is there's I think the Night's King and the Army of the Dead are specifically marching south for that particular baby. It's something to do with the numbers. It's something to do with prophecy for them that perhaps we don't know about yet. I mean, I don't know. I did hear recently that Dan and Dave, I'm slagging them off already, and we've only been going 10 minutes. There was some conversation about the motivation of the Night King. And we're all hoping for some kind of story. What's his backstory? What's his motivation? What is it all about? And the feedback seemed to just be, oh yeah, he's a baddie. He's a baddie and he's going to kill everyone. Pew, 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 pew. That's it. And it was like, oh, right. Okay. Well, if that happens, that's going to be quite disappointing. Especially when we're talking about could he possibly be coming for Sam's baby? And is there another story there that is going to be revealed later on? Well, maybe not. So I don't know.
I would love that. I would love first, because I think your average kind of show watcher is going to expect Bran and not think about baby Sam, but baby Sam will still make sense to them as well. So like Lisa, you're the average show watcher, right? You haven't read the book. So would baby Sam make sense for you as well as if he was coming for Bran?
I think so. Yeah, I think it would make sense. And I completely forgot about Sam until you guys just mentioned him. So I don't think the average show watcher would even consider it to start off with. But if the story takes them that way, then yeah, it would make sense.
Because that scene with the Night's King when he turns the baby in the woods, in, I think it must have been season 2. That isn't in the books. They've actually shown us way more of the Night King isn't even in the books. They've actually shown us way more of the White Walkers and their chain abilities and all of that kind of stuff that then we get in the books. So I think there's probably a reason why they've shown us that change, that baby thing in the show, and because maybe they needed the show watchers to know that.
I don't think they do anything just. It's there for a reason, right? They wouldn't have put that clip in there for no reason. So it's a very good possibility that's who he's going after.
Was it season 4, T-Baby? Was it that late that they showed the change of the baby? I thought it was, oh my God, was it really season 4? My goodness. And T-Baby, I added you as a mod, so you can drop your link in the chat there. So AirTag says there will be fire. The Hound is in Winterfell. There will be magic. Varys is in Winterfell. There will be Jaime and Daenerys, and Lady Mormont is in Winterfell. Hope Tormund won't miss Brienne. Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people saying Tormund and Brienne. I don't know if the show will go that way, though. I guess we have to have some kind of hope left for the future, though. There has to be someone around.
We need the giant ginger-haired babies.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. We do.
I'm all about the gingers, no problem. You just finished season 4, T-Baby. Gosh, I completely forgot. I haven't watched the other series in preparation at all. I just watched season 7. There you go. So yeah, and by season 4, it was already looking like George wouldn't finish the books. So that would maybe have been even more like fed their necessity to put that scene in, maybe with the baby. All right. So Claire, you had a few questions. Do you want to go any of your questions?
Does anybody have any bold predictions?
Yeah, that kind of ties in with my question as well about major character predictions. So Lisa, I'm interested in hearing your ideas.
My bold predictions?
Or any major predictions for characters or whatever you want.
I don't know if it was really predictions, just something that I kind of noticed when I was rewatching was that the dagger that Bran gives to Arya. And he says something along the lines of, "It was meant to kill me." Is he predicting his own death with the dagger? Possibly. I don't know. That's just one thing that came up. And the other thing that really stood out to me watching the last episode last night of season 7, Cersei had a chance to kill both Jaime and Tyrion in that episode, and she did not. So why did she do that when she had the opportunity to take both of them out? She could have. Is Tyrion working with Cersei? Does he actually know what her real plan is? We didn't see that part of the conversation. He just came back to the dragon pit with her, and she said, "Okay, I'm sending my armies up north." They leave, and she's like, "Oh no, not actually doing that." Does Tyrion know that, or what's going on there? So
that's a good point, because Jaime failed, because Jaime goes after her first after that meeting in the dragon pit, and he can't get through to her, or is even allowed in. We just see him with Tyrion and says, "No point. It's not good. If this is the last time I see you, good luck," kind of thing. But that's interesting about, because we talked about that. I remember when we watched that episode in season 7 about how the Mountain comes closer to killing Jaime than he does killing Tyrion. I'm kind of on the Tyrion is a Lannister through and through train. I think what Dany does to the Tarleys changes Tyrion, and what he sees the dragons capable of doing changes his. I think it changes him a little bit, and it's not gonna. If there's a Stark as well, the Starks and the Targaryens are not going to want to keep any Lannisters around. I think the days are numbered. Maybe. What do you think, Claire?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think one thing Dany isn't is diplomatic, and I think that's going to scare Tyrion. That's going to make him think, "Whoa, she's not able to negotiate. she just comes straight in and says, bend the knee, or that's it, my dragons will just melt you. So make your decision. And I don't think that's. I think Tyrion's conflicted because he wants somebody to take the power away from his crazy, power-crazed sister. And I think he's put all his eggs in one basket with Dany, but now he's hesitating. He's thinking, "Oh, have I actually have I chosen the right side here? I'm not so sure." And also, I do remember, even though I've not done the rewatch, I remember us discussing last season that Tyrion and Cersei had a conversation where, as Lisa said, where it was like she could have killed him at that point. But we didn't get to see all of that conversation. It was kind of like some of that was off screen. So could Tyrion and Cersei have been plotting? And also, you've got to remember the look of, I mean, when Tyrion was sneaking around on the boat, and he kind of discovered that Jon and Daenerys had got together. I don't know if that was just a look of jealousy or whether it was like, this is, they've joined forces. They're now an alliance, and this will threaten the Lannisters. I don't know. I don't trust Tyrion as much as I used to at this point, especially in the TV show.
Yeah, it's I think as well, somebody had this theory, and I can't remember. I've watched so many things now in the last couple of weeks. I can't remember if it was Kyle or Game of Thrones Academy, but something about that maybe a pact was made to any babies from like Cersei's line might be married to any babies from Dany's line, and that Tyrion is going to try and bring the two together and negotiate a peace, but that from Dany's perspective it'll look like betrayal, and Cersei will betray him anyway by not adhering to any kind of peace. So I kind of like those ideas. I like the idea that either way the perspective might be that he has betrayed her, even if we the audience know that isn't true. Sunshine and Silver Arrow says that Tyrion will lose his hand, it is known, if you've seen the promo pictures. Well, do you think he'll lose his tongue in this? Do you think they'll go do that in the TV show? There's a little bit of foreshadowing in the TV show.
The fact that's something that happens in the books. He loses his tongue.
No, there's foreshadowing in the books for sure, but there is a little bit of foreshadowing in the show. Not finishing that joke last season with Missandei and Grey Worm, or was it the season before? And there's little bits, like it's the sharpest thing about him. Like characters have said that to him. It's his only weapon, really, his tongue. So, yeah. I don't know if they'll do it in the TV show. What do you guys in the chat think as well? I'd be interested to know. And bye, Meridian. I didn't see you say it. Bye. And they're all talking about, the Lannister children not being Tywins. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go down that road in the show. So I'm not sure. Yeah, AJ said he'll be disappointed if any of the kids end up being Targs. AJ, I think you're safe. I don't think they're going to go down that road in the show. Yeah. So any other Tyrion predictions? Do you think he and Sansa will meet on good terms? I think they probably will, right? I mean, he is the one kind of person that could bring them together harmoniously, if there's anything. If anyone can do it, he can do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think she might be like, suspicious of him initially, like why has Tyrion aligned himself with this Dragon Queen? How's that happened? What's that all about? But I think, once they've had a bit of a chat and a catch up, there was a fondness there between them, between Sansa and Tyrion. And I think, I don't know, just a kind of an understanding between them about, we're caught in this situation, here are the circumstances, this is my family, your family, but actually, we're, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm that type of person just because I'm a Lannister. So I think it will initially be awkward between them, but they'll come to there'll be an understanding there.
So you didn't get to answer your own question. Do you have any bold predictions?
Well, what we're just thinking about Tyrion, and I think I mentioned this last week when we were on AU's channel, that I think there has to be, with as much destruction as there's likely to be, there also has to be some hope at the end of it. This is just an epic, massive, sweeping saga that's been on the screens for 8 years. So there's going to have to, we're going to need to be left with some sort of who's going to take things forward into the future off screen. I don't know. This is going to be some universe that expands, isn't it? With like prequels and films, spin-offs, and all kinds of things. But I think in this timeline, this story, how it's developed over the last 8 years, is going to need to be something that leaves us with a small amount of satisfaction, even if we don't get to see that going forward. So with that in mind, if there is a bold prediction, that there needs to be a handful of storytellers and historians left. So those kind of characters who were able to reasonably accurately recount what's happened for future generations, especially around things like the magic, and the prophecies, and the North is supposed to remember something. Here's what we think it is that we're supposed to remember, all of that kind of stuff. And I think Sam and Tyrion are top of the list there for those characters that will survive in order to be able to have that storytelling role.
And I would add Gilly there as well.
Yeah.
They've even shown her become more literate.
In the TV show, where is Gilly at the moment? Is she with Sam?
She's in Winterfell with Sam.
Is she? Right, yeah. Okay, wow. With so Sam, the baby's there as well.
The baby's there too, yeah.
Yeah, in the trailer you see her hiding in the crypts where Varys is.
Yeah.
They put the eunuchs and the women and children in the crypts. Or not in the crypts, but some basement or something. It looks like it could be the crypts. But some basement or something in Winterfell. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Gilly will be the one to write a wildling history almost. Also, she's actually a relation to these White Walkers. She's actually blood relation to these guys. So there's that as well. So that would be and they've shown her become gradually more literate. So I would imagine there'll be something, and that idea that she was turned away from the Citadel, it would be nice if she then became like some sort of historian or writer in her own right. AJ says, he has a question. Am I the only one who really doesn't like Arya's character anymore? I don't think you're the only one. I think Arya suffers a little bit, as do a few characters, from not having the book stories to give a sense of a clear direction on the show. I think Tyrion for a little bit suffered from it. Arya definitely did suffer from it a little bit because they didn't know what to do with the House of Black and White and with the Faceless Men, I feel, on the show. I had thought maybe would the Faceless Men show up again in season 8? Will we see that? But I think they're done with that. I don't think we're going to see them.
Well, yeah, a couple of things. One, Ertak in the comments saying, imagine them to shelter in the worst place they could possibly shelter at Winterfell in the crypts, which is absolutely, you can just imagine it, can't you? You were safe.
Yeah.
And they're all huddled together, and the next thing just ping, 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 and all the crypts start kind of bursting open with like dead Starks, and it's like, oh my God. But also one of the other questions that I had was about a top thing that, and this is a kind of frustrating thing for a book reader, but also Lisa for show watchers as well. I do have that feeling because I still have that hangover from Lost. I don't know if either of you watched Lost, where it was just that, oh my God, I've invested so much of my life into this, and the payoff is just like, So that still haunts me. And
I
I'm
was
sure
literally
that,
just thinking that. Seriously, I was
yeah,
literally just thinking that.
I just, I'm like, oh, that would be the worst possible thing to happen. And I'm just hoping it doesn't. And even if it does, I hope that the rest of it is enjoyable and, a kind of rollicking good adventure in the last season. But one of the question, long roundabout way of saying, what do you think is going to be the top thing that's likely to be unresolved in this story? And just going back to what you were saying, Kat, for me, I think that's the faceless men. I don't think we're really going to get much more information about who they are, what their history, their back, because they've got a whole like backstory, origin story that hasn't really been. I mean, the whole stuff with the TV show with Arya and the House of Black and White was just a bit confusing and didn't represent how she was trained and her experiences in Bravos from the books. I'm going to stop saying that, but
well, I don't
I
even
just don't.
think it lived up to their own hype because they put that forward front and center as their main poster for season 4, right? Or I think it was season 4, season 5.
I think it's now just going to be, oh, this is who the faceless men are. It's this kind of death cult in Bravos. Arya went over there and had some adventures. She became, or at least partially trained to be a faceless man. Now she's back in Westeros, back in the main storyline. She's now a faceless man, or she can at least use these talents, these skills. That's what the whole thing about the faceless men was for the TV show. I think we're not going to get any more resolution, really. I don't know. I mean, I think they could do lots of things. Like I read somewhere about what if in the trailer where Arya looks really scared and shocked and like, whoa, what is going on here, for something to frighten Arya. And somebody was saying that it could be the waif, and she's like, the shock is, who are you? I've already killed you, so it can't be you. There must be another faceless man in Winterfell. And it's like, that would be quite interesting, but it's a very protracted storyline. We haven't got much time, and I just think in terms of the faceless men for the TV show,
I prefer Syrio Farrell, to be honest.
Well, that'd be great if it was.
No,
yeah,
the way no, we don't need to. Oh God, that would be.
But awful. I don't think
Lisa, we were just talking about that scene actually from the trailer. Lisa brought that up because she was watching.
Yeah. I was watching Kyle's video from yesterday.
Yeah,
he thinks it's the Night King chasing
Arya. Yeah, I saw that. He'd kind of blown up, pixelated, kind of. Yeah, did look like him. Definitely.
It just looked like the Night King. It's a good possibility, that's for sure.
And it would add something to that whole faceless man plotline for her, because she kind of worshipped death, and then to be chased by what the show considered the personification of death would be, that would be kind of a nice kind of way to, that would be nice irony to build into her arc. I think so that would be good. I really liked his video yesterday, actually, just how he broke it down and everything. It's really, really good. But yeah, I have like lots of headcanon things, like fantasies. My main one, because I know a lot of people get angry about Dor, and a lot of people get angry about the faceless men, Arya, whatever it is. I still can't get over Mira, and how Mira, I didn't like it. I thought, who was talking about it? Somebody was talking about, I think it was in Deep Geek, saying, oh, it's quite a satisfactory tie-up. I didn't find it satisfactory at all. I think the Reed storyline, even just the way Howland Reed stabs Arthur Dayne in the back, it's like everything about the way they've treated the Reeds, the way they blew up Jojen, everything's it's just they really did get the short end of the stick. That's no pun intended, but there you go. So in my head canon, I have like them losing at a battle at Winterfell potentially, and having to retreat then maybe to Greywater Watch for safety, because that can't be found. I know this isn't going to happen. So don't all attack me. This is just my fantasy headcanon. And that Howland Reed shows up, and it's the guy, and I can't remember his name, but it's the guy who played King Alfred in Last Kingdom, if anyone watches The Last Kingdom. I just think he would be a perfect Howland Reed. So I don't know what happens after that, but just like seeing Greywater Watch and seeing the Reeds maybe potentially offering safety and some sort of, I don't know, just some sort of reprieve for how they've treated that storyline.
It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. And I think if I was the actress who was playing Mira, I would be so pissed off with Sam, because it felt like Sam arrived at Winterfell. He's got the story. He's got the big scoop about who Jon's parents are. Sorry, Mira, you're out of the picture. The Reeds aren't necessary anymore. We don't need to know anything about them. Thanks for dragging Bran around and carrying him around. And, you know, it's just, but sorry. I mean, it was really cold the way it was done, but I think that's just going to be one of those horrible disappointments that came from the last season, the same as, you know, we like Hodor and Summer, and it just seems like, you know, real.
But at least they had like a purpose. Like they had some purpose at the end. And I know her purpose was to get Bran to Winterfell, but then she even says it. She's like, so that's it. We lost all of that, and that's it. You're home now. I've lost my brother. It felt, I don't know, but maybe, you see, with the prequel, there's scope for House Reed potentially, right? Would they have been around, House Reed? Long Night potentially. I haven't done any research to confirm or deny whether they would be around, but that would be interesting. So, should we talk about Jon and Dany, because obviously they're like Lisa's favorites. So Jon and Dany, what do you think, Lisa? Any predictions for them? Or what would you like to see?
First of all, thank you very much for sending me this lovely notebook. You know.
I have mine here that you sent me.
Mine's nicer. I really can't wait to see how the dynamic's going to change when Jon finds out that he's a Targaryen. How is that going to affect their relationship? How's Dany going to react too? Like, is she going to be like, okay, well, now he's my threat because he is the heir. I'm not technically the heir anymore. He is. How is that going to affect their relationship?
I think that's a great point, because I think it'll affect her more than him. Yeah.
Although the Targaryens are all kind of incesty anyway. They'll kind of marry into each other anyway, so maybe they'll just say, okay, I'm your aunt and you're my nephew, so let's just get married and be done with it. But I can't see that, to be honest with you. I think there's going to be a lot of tension there. Dany's not going to be very happy at all, I don't think.
Do you think they'll marry?
I can see that happening, but I think there's going to be a lot of tension at the beginning part of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see them marry fairly quickly, actually.
Maybe.
To try and get the North, but a lot of this also depends on Sansa, and I mean, my prediction is that Sansa is going to take it all in the end. I at least, or she'll be the most powerful ruler, whether it's the ruler of all 7 kingdoms or not. I don't really know, but I definitely think a lot of this, if Sansa doesn't get behind the Dany thing, the North won't get behind it. She's a lot of sway there. I don't know how you feel about that, Claire.
I think Sansa will be instrumental. I think all of the Stark siblings will, to be honest, because this is a question that Jon's always wanted answering. So it's massive. It's massive for him, and the impact is huge. But also it changes the dynamics between him and his siblings. He's not necessarily a bastard anymore. So that might affect his relationship with Arya. I think it would be more strategic and political, the relationship that he has at the moment and will continue to have with Sansa. And I think you're absolutely right. She holds a lot of sway with the other northern houses. So they can't just, Dany can't just start kind of, marching around Winterfell like she owns the place, because that's just not going to go down very well at all. Dragons or no dragons, but yeah. The question here from T Baby: will Jon give Dany the Seven Kingdoms?
I definitely can't see Jon. I can definitely see Jon walking away from leadership. I don't think. What do you think, Lisa?
I agree. I don't think he ever wanted to be king at all. I don't think that's what he wants. So I can see him walking away.
Urtash brings up a good point, though. To be honest, Jon being Lyanna's son, Sansa and Arya should be happy with it. It's kind of an advantage for the Stark lineage, which means there are still children from two different siblings of House Stark, right? Yeah, actually, you also maybe think of something else as well, because it could be that because he's now Lyanna's son and legitimate, that the North put pressure on him to marry Sansa and leave Dany to one side. There could be
possibly, yeah, because it doesn't need. At the moment, you've got the Starks and you've got the Targaryens, and the link between the two is Jon for everybody, but also for Jon when he finds out. So he's already Targaryen. He doesn't need to marry a Targaryen. So yeah, maybe strengthening House Stark. I don't know.
I think we're going to have. They really like Sansa. So I think we're going to have a lot, and they don't trust Targaryens. I mean, the last burnt, Rickard and what was his name? Brandon. Last name? Yeah. So yeah, I don't think they're going to trust the Targaryens. So I think the Northerners may start putting pressure on Jon. And if he marries Dany in secret, which, there might be history repeating itself if he decides, no, I'm going to marry for love or whatever. I'm going to do what I want to do.
You can just imagine it's like that. Oh, you thought it's kind of like you've fallen for somebody for love, but now you found out that you're related to them, which means that you can marry somebody that you thought you were related to, but it turns out you're not. So rather than it being Dany, Sansa becomes the obvious option.
Just incest all around, really.
Although I first cousins, I'm like aunt and nephew is just like, ugh.
All of
it is weird. All of it is weird. But Valyrian Sphinx says, sadly, Jon's best choice is to keep it a secret. It would be interesting if they just decided not to tell anyone. That would be interesting.
But I still think that personally, it would both of them would have a problem. Like, okay, you are now higher in the lineage for the in terms of his Targaryen heritage. The way the show's portraying this, as he is Rhaegar's son. So he has a stronger claim on the Iron Throne. Dany's not going to like that, new romance or not. And for Jon, I think he's going to be like, oh, I didn't realize we were related, feeling a bit funny about that. So I don't want to go down that road anymore, but that doesn't mean I hate you. We're not enemies. We can still work together. Let's see if we can form an alliance. So I don't know. I think that's how things are going to go. They're not just going to go, oh, really? Oh, well, never mind. There's history to that. So it's okay with us. I think they will both have a problem with it.
I mean, Jon's primary concern is going to be winning this war. And it'll be interesting to see how, Royce and Glover and Mormont and all these other kind of big guys and little girls who will react to this, because on the one hand, he is bringing quite a force with him in the form of Dany. But on the other hand, he's now, without realizing it, he's going to completely dishonor Ned potentially by doing this, because it's all going to be very complicated. It's going to be a complicated first episode, I think. T Baby says, if they married in secret, they'd be no better than Rhaegar and Lyanna. I think Dany will be okay with them being related, but Jon might not be into it, and John would have an issue marrying Sansa because he views her as his sister. Kind of gross. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, but I still think there might be, because the best thing about Game of Thrones are all like the political games and pressures and stresses and all that kind of thing, and that has to come from somewhere. So I think one of the things would be if they rejected Dany in the north, or they rejected the idea of John marrying Dany and pushed for Sansa. I think that would be interesting, but we'll see what happens. Do you think John, so where are you on John and Dany making it out of this season? Either as a couple or as separate entities, or, you know, what do you think? I know where Lisa stands. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want anything bad to happen.
I think there'll be an alliance there. I don't think there'll be a lasting sort of romantic relationship there necessarily. And I think, T-Baby said a couple of times now, John dies at Winterfell. That would be quite powerfully symbolic if he did. And if it was in the first couple of episodes as well, that would shake things up a fair amount. So yeah, I quite like that idea. I
don't think they'll kill John. If they kill him, it'll be in the
final one.
episode. I think so.
Yeah. I don't think I don't think both of them can make it. I know it's supposed to be a Song of Ice and Fire, but this is Game of Thrones, the TV show. And I think it's going to be, there'll be a big sacrifice. Both of them don't make it.
It's a Song of Ice and Fire, but could Sansa be the ice?
And definitely. I think definitely, yeah. I easily. Yeah, I think it's a good point.
May it come down to those two queens fighting it out?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. Easy. And that would be really, I think, and plus having Emilia Clarke and Sophie Turner come together, I think that's going to be really interesting, and I think it'll make for some great scenes. I know there are haters for both those characters out there, but I'll enjoy it. Ertax asked, isn't Sansa still married to Tyrion? Thinking about Game of Thrones is really so overwhelming. Yeah. I believe they said in the show that was annulled because she could marry Ramsay then. I believe that's am I remembering correctly? I think it's annulled in the show.
Either that or they're into bigamy as well.
Yeah. T-Baby says Dany makes it out of King's Landing. We see her prophecy vision in the House of the Undying. I think John and Dany are pretty safe until the second to last episodes. I mentioned it on AU stream the other night. I kind of like the idea of if they are going to play out an Azor Ahai Nissa type thing, or some sort of blood sacrifice in order to defeat the Night's King. I like the idea of there being a gender switch on that, and potentially Dany having to kill Drogon in order to achieve that.
Have we, correct me if I'm wrong, but have we ever even had the Nissa prophecy or anything like that discussed in the show? I think we've had they've talked about the Long Night, haven't they? And they've talked about the prince that was promised, because that was something that was mentioned when Daenerys arrived on Dragonstone, and I think it was Melisandre who said, "Oh no, that could be prince or princess." It was a kind of gender neutral thing. I'm sure that came up in the TV show, but
yes, because it comes via Salladhor Saan in the books, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Lisa, do you know anything about Nissa or Azor Ahai? Do those words mean anything to you?
I don't think so. I'm trying to rack my brains, but I don't think I've heard either of those. I know definitely talking about the prince that was promised, and Melisandre says no, it could be prince or princess. There's no gender now. There for it. So, but I don't recall anything about Nissa.
T-Baby said Missandei said it in the show. I think Missandei or Melisandre. I thought Mel might have said it about Azor Ahai. Maybe have referred to Stannis as Azor Ahai, maybe. I don't necessarily think they'll spell out those prophecies anyway. I think it'll just be something that, you know, we can read into if we want. But I do like the idea of Dany having to commit some sort of act of blood sacrifice, kind of mirroring her climbing on to that, you know, the pyre with Drogo and Miri Mazdor in season 1. I think there'll be a lot of satisfying moments where we kind of get these loops. And it would be interesting that if she had to birth a dragon to do something, kind of a blood magic thing to birth a dragon, that she'd have to also kill a dragon in order to achieve something magical as well. Yeah. Oh, sorry, T baby, about the gender of the prince. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that you're right, T baby. That will throw people off as well. It could be Dany or Jon for sure. I personally, sorry, go on.
With Dany and Jon, just because this doesn't quite make sense to me. Dany and Jon having a baby and her being pregnant, you know, whatever happens, even if, like, you know, they both find out who Jon is, and that throws everything off. But I can't get past the fact that the guy died. He was dead and resurrected. So what's going on with fertility there?
Yeah,
this has got kind of, if he's got her pregnant when he's somehow undead, that's going to have to be some kind of magical baby. So, you know, I don't know. I just can't get my head around. Everyone's sort of, oh yeah, of course they're going to have a baby, and it's like, how?
Or will it counteract the weird kind of dragon baby that Dany is supposed to have had in her womb? Although I'm not even sure if did they mention that in the show? I see now. I should have watched all of the seasons.
That is some
Lisa's
kind of
looking at me
magic,
like, going, what is going on? So clearly they didn't mention that in season 1. So the baby that she's supposed to have had for Khal Drogo, when she kind of when she passes out and Jorah brings her into the tent, when Miri Mazdor is trying to save Drogo, in the books, when she wakes up, they tell her that the baby died, and when she kind of birthed the baby, it was like half dragon kind of baby, which isn't uncommon for Targaryens. Sorry, yeah. Lisa.
Okay, that's completely throwing me right now. A half baby, half dragon baby, like what?
Yeah, okay, they definitely didn't mention that in the show. Okay.
No, definitely not. I don't remember that, but I would have remembered that.
Okay, hi, Peter and AU. Bubba says, why do they say that Ned married Cat because custom so decreed? At this rate, that people die. Oh, sorry. At the rate people die in Westeros, shouldn't there be at least one more example of marriage to your dead brother's betrothed? Off the top of my head, oh God, I feel like there is something in the back of my head saying there are other examples. I'm not entirely sure if they're on the show though. I feel like there are in the books other examples, but yeah, I mean, there's loads of other things there's loads of other things, Bubba, that I think there should be examples of, and they're not. But yeah, so I don't know if, I mean, vampires can have babies with humans in Twilight, so, you know, they're kind of undead. So whites probably can have babies. I don't know. I don't think they're going to spend that much time working it out in the show. In the books, I think it'll be very different, but in the show, I don't think they'll spend that much time working it out. I mean, he's alive, right?
I don't. Whatever happens, I don't predict a happy ending for Jon and Daenerys. Unfortunately, sorry, no. Lisa.
No, I as much as I want it, I don't think it's going to happen either.
Yeah.
If I'm going to call one of them, I think Dany will die and Jon will survive.
I think it's
today. Tomorrow, it could be the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm opposite. I think Jon will die and Dany will live. That's what I think.
Yeah. If she didn't destroy the Dosh Colleen, although maybe she didn't destroy them. because there is a very like strong thing in the books where it says that she will be back with them. She won't escape her fate with them. So that kind of, maybe, but then there's lots of things that could happen with her. I mean, there's foreshadowing for lots of things, so who knows? I have to say, Dany's costumes look amazing, and Sansa's costume. I mean, all the costumes look amazing, but Dany and Sansa's in particular, like you said, Lisa, that kind of ice and fire thing, their costumes are really setting that up beautifully in those trailers. The white and the black, it's really cool. Okay, so let's talk about Bran. Where are you on Bran?
I was just I'm kind of thinking about dragons. I don't know if we're going to talk about dragons.
We can talk about dragons. Yeah.
It's just while we're on the subject of Jon and Dany, I think they're the ones that are kind of more closely linked to the dragons. So at the moment, we've got Viserion was resurrected by the Night King, who's currently flying, riding him and, breach the wall, that kind of thing. And Jon and Daenerys have got Rhaegal and Drogon. And it looks like in one of the trailers that, I think most show watchers, most TV watchers are going to be expecting and will probably be really disappointed if they don't see Jon flying off into the distance on a dragon with Daenerys into battle at some point this season. What do you think about that? And what do you think is going to happen with Viserion and the Night King?
Well, I said it to you in AU the other night, and I've sent away my Make-A-Wish letter. I have cancer. I'm allowed to do these things. I want my romantic dragon ride just to annoy everybody else. Yeah. Although Lisa will probably appreciate it, right? A romantic dragon ride. Like a lovely score coming in. Cinematography. I'll hear Claire's eyes rolling from here. When that happens, and I would be so happy, and everybody would hate it, but I love it.
I think that's hilarious.
So my thing with this is, I definitely think they're definitely going to put Jon on a dragon. There's no way that he won't. I don't know if it'll be Drogon or Rhaegal. Be interesting if that was to drive a rift between Dany and Jon, if Drogon decides to go with Jon over Dany. That would be interesting. But I think he'll probably ride Rhaegal. My thing is he going to have to watch Rhaegal and Ghost die? Because I want Ghost.
Wow.
That's my thing. Are we going to have to watch Jon lose both of them? Because that would be awful. I mean, they haven't put much effort into Rhaegal. I feel like we know Drogon way better, and now Viserion way better. Rhaegal needs a little bit of work, I think.
Do you think any of the dragons will make it to the end and survive? I
think Rhaegal could. Right. If Jon survives, he may leave on Rhaegal. He may just do a Nettles, or is it Nettles? Mm-hmm. So he may just fly off into the great unknown. That could happen.
But don't you think all the magic's going to have to die in order for the Night King to die?
Yeah, this is the big question, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the dragons would be considered magic, so I think to kill the Night King, the magic's just going to have to be destroyed somehow.
We're either going to have a way more tolerant magical society, or we're going to have, like we had at the beginning of Game of Thrones, nothing at all, like you said, that they'll have to push everything back, including the Targaryens and dragons and all that kind of thing. T-Baby says, Rhaegal dies at Winterfell. Everybody dies at Winterfell. T-Baby, the way you're talking, this will all be over in 3 episodes. Oh gosh, will a dragon die at Winterfell? I mean, that would be interesting.
Are they saying it's the 3rd episode is the Battle of Winterfell?
Yeah, the 3rd episode is the Battle of Winterfell. Yeah.
And you don't know. I can't see them doing it that early. if they're going to kill off a dragon. I think it would be close to the
Yeah.
end.
T-Baby says Rhaegal dies at Winterfell, taking out Viserion. That makes perfect sense to me.
It does
make
actually,
sense.
yeah.
Mm.
Be cool if Ghost took out Viserion and survived. No. I want Ghost. I want Ghost.
Are we seeing Ghost this season?
Oh my god. Ertach, you're breaking my heart. I hope John uses the word Dracarys on a white ghost. Oh my god. My heart. Oh my god.
He's affronted by that.
Oh, but I kind of like it. It's really awful, but maybe a ghost summer or a white summer. That might be interesting. But I yeah. So I kind of think, well, maybe I know what you're saying, Lisa. I think we might get dragon eggs maybe surviving, but no targs in order that are willing to help hatch them. That could be a thing. So like, there's still a possibility that magic could come back. Will we have any direwolves? Are we going to get Nymeria showing up?
Have they said that we're seeing any of the direwolves this season, or it hasn't been said? Because I think their excuse in the past was their CGI budget, wasn't it? That's why we didn't see it. I mean, how many millions of dollars are they spending per episode anyway?
They're going to throw a lot. I
15,
think,
16 million, something like that.
Yeah. Is that per episode?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I think I think there's got to be something with Nymeria. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen that moment with them sort of nose to nose when Arya bumped into her on her way down to King's Landing, and seeing Nymeria made a kind of about turn and go back up north.
I just had a prediction. What if because I don't think they can win Winterfell. I think they're going to lose Winterfell. I can't see it. I can't see them beating off these whites. Just too many of them. What if while the survivors are retreating from Winterfell, Nymeria and her pack help keep the whites off long enough for them to get back to get to safety somewhere?
Yeah,
that would be cool. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Again, I don't think they're showing us something just to show us something. That had to admit something. So
yeah, it'll be cool seeing Dany meet a direwolf. That would be cool. Like that'll be because that moment with Jon and Drogon was so cool in the last series.
Well, it'd be good if she meets Ghost, if she does get to, because it's kind of like, you've met my magical pet, I'm now going to meet your magical creature.
Also, I hope Ghost is a lot bigger. Like Nymeria was so much bigger this time around as well. So
where is Ghost? Is he supposed to be at Winterfell, or we don't know where he is?
I guess. When was the last time we saw Ghost?
Pretty sure when he was at Castle Black, wasn't it?
He wasn't in the Battle of the Bastards, right? They didn't use him.
I don't remember.
No, he wasn't around there. I don't know.
Anybody in the chat?
I don't think he's in any danger. I think the last time we saw him was when he was there when Jon was being resurrected. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen. I can't remember seeing him.
Have we seen him with Sansa? I don't think we had. Somebody had a theory that maybe if Jon doesn't survive, that Ghost will go with Sansa and be like her direwolf, that she'll kind of, which would be interesting. But nothing in season 7. I can't remember him. After at the Battle of the Bastards. I can't remember him in Winterfell at all. But feel free to correct me, guys. I just can't remember him. They show him so little. Oh, hi, Catherine. How are you? So I kind of agree with you ultimately, Lisa, that how can magic survive? That's the sad thing. The Night King then. So will he be defeated or will he be pushed back? I don't have any strong opinions on this either way.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
I think he will be defeated, but not completely. There'll be scope for him to come back again, a bit like how the giants, sleeping giants, and things like that. Something will kind of resurrect him again at some point in the future. But I think he can only be defeated magically. So I'm thinking that that's going to be some kind of battle going on the astral plane between the Night King and Bran.
Yeah.
While there's physical fighting going on around them, there'll be this other kind of fight on a different plane.
So here is my question, because I haven't heard anyone talk about this yet, but will we actually get to hear the Night King speak? Will we get to hear his voice in some way? Because so far it's been quite silent from that. Or will it be just bad guy, bad guy, bad guy? Will there be any kind of grey in that story at all? I'm kind of getting worried that it's going to be very much, they're the bad guys, they're the monsters, let's get rid of them. And there's not going to be much, we're not going to get much about the motivation or where they originated from. Like, they're going to leave a lot of that to the prequels, I think.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get an answer to that at all. No.
Yeah, but that's the way the reel is into watching the prequels, right?
Yeah,
right?
the casting is looking really good for that as well, actually.
Is it? I haven't seen.
Really, really good. Barbara Revel, how are you? Ghost was in Winterfell and he backed Littlefinger up at some point. And I think John mentioned leaving Ghost at Winterfell when he went to Dragonstone to meet Dany. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Oh, bye, Tea Baby.
Oh, bye, Tea Baby. Thanks so much. Watch out for Winterfell. It's a dangerous place. Yeah, I hope it's not a huge anticlimax, the whole Night King stuff. So, yeah. And then I guess that brings us neatly to Bran then. One Stark we haven't really talked about. I think, like Arya, Bran is the most problematic for the show, because the show have done a lot with him because they added the Night King to the story before George did. So I think that they can kind of do what they like with the Bran story, right? They can play it out however way they want. So I agree with you. I think he's going to be fighting the Night King somewhere in the Weirwood network. Whether he's alone or not is another thing. Whether he'll have someone with him or not.
Well, again, religion does feature quite heavily in the TV show. Speaking of which, they have been pretty comprehensively trounced now, haven't they? The faith in King's Landing, although that is still something to we still got to explore that in the books. But religion does feature. It features quite heavily, and I think that Bran's going to end up being some kind of emblem, symbolic of the old gods. And he's got he's got magical abilities that link to the old gods. So I think he will defeat. Maybe it will reduce his powers even, which are quite scary. For a young boy, he seems to be like triple the amount of magical power that the existing three-eyed raven had in the TV show. So maybe that will help him a little bit. I'm not sure.
The scariest moment is when he said to Littlefinger, "Chaos is a ladder." I thought that was really chilling. And I want more moments like that. I don't want any more moments of people coming into the room. I'm the three-eyed raven now. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't want any more. Yeah. We've done that now. Thank you. Because it's a hard role to play because he's so emotionless. But that moment with Littlefinger like that was probably Bran, the three-eyed raven's most interesting role. I do like that he's still limited by his own knowledge. So, you know, he got that whole thing wrong about John being John Sand, for instance. He has to be told where to look still. Like he can't.
Yeah,
There
he
are
doesn't.
limits.
He's not linked it up yet, has he? He's not able to just kind of, oh, I want to find out about this backstory. He's powerful, but he's not got control of that power, which is the scary bit. That's the scary element to it. But yeah, I did read something somewhere where the actor was saying that Bran will be less robotic this season, so we will get more emotion from the character, which will be much better, because he was just like a CCTV camera, really, just like, you know, Google Maps or something, wasn't he, last time, just sending out flocks of ravens and letting everyone know, oh yeah, this is where they are, this is what you need to, you know, he's just, yeah.
I think that'll be the key, actually. His human side will be the key to defeating the Night's King. I think not giving in like Bloodraven did, maybe, and losing yourself completely in the Weirwood network.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Again, I think a lot of that will be unanswered to get us to watch the prequels, which of course I will. So Catherine, hi Catherine. My only favourites are Sam, Brienne, and Davos. Well, you definitely have a friend in Claire here, and me. So we talked a little bit about Sam. What about Brienne, Claire? Have you any strong? Do you think she'll make it through this?
I think there will be some fan favourites and some really solid characters that will die heroically. They will have to, for us to have that emotional response as an audience for this final season. So you will get the big Nymeria moment with her wolf pack where she defends Arya. You will get the true knight Brienne defending some absolute fool like Jamie and dying for it in the process. There'll be those gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching moments. And as much as she is one of my favourite characters, both in the books and the TV show, yeah, I think that, unfortunately, Brienne won't make it to the end. She'll have a big moment, but she won't make it to the end.
Yeah. What about you, Lisa? How do you feel?
Wouldn't it just be like poetic if Brienne died in the arms of Jaime Lannister and he realized how much he loves her all along?
I know Claire, for one, would hate that.
Well, I like Tormund and Brienne. Let's just get real. But yeah, I think Brienne's definitely not going to make it. Sam, I see him staying because I'm pretty sure he's the storyteller here.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Sam is probably death proof, right?
Yeah, I think so.
As much.
I think out of the entire list of characters, I think Sam is probably one of the only ones you can say is definitely not going to die.
I would put Sansa on that list as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Honest. I think Sansa. I think they've done enough to her character in the show.
Yeah.
That I don't think they want to show her. I don't think they want to do any more to her, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. She's gone through enough with Ramsay.
I also think Davos is death proof. But in my head, in my heart. Brown lives, thanks AU. Brienne lives, according to AU. So that's good news for you, Claire. Airtouch says, did you guys notice Littlefinger's theme playing in the scene which Cersei and Caitlin are talking next to Bran when he was in his coma? That same theme is revealed fully in the scene Chaos is Allowed There. Yeah, they're so good at doing little things like that with costuming, but also with the music too, like little callbacks. Yeah, it's really great. Urtach says he'll be the happiest guy when he sees Bronn literally betrays Tyrion and Jaime this season. I never liked him, the sellsword. Yeah, I don't think Bronn is going to be as loyal to the Lannister cause as people assume he will be. And I know AU said that in the Russian trailer, according to Tony, that he shouts Bronn, but then there's some other. Kyle was saying that maybe he shouts John, so that Jamie is shouting. I'm still not convinced about this Bronn going.
Maybe
to
he's hungry and he's shouting Scone. I don't know.
That's the kind of joke I'd make, Claire. I've been a bad influence on you. I love it. Okay, so okay, I think we've dealt with all of the major characters. Obviously, Davos lives forever and probably gets the Iron Throne. Yeah,
I agree. I agree, Tack. I hope that Bronn gets ended in episode 1 at Winterfell. I hope he turns up all gung ho, and he's only on our screens for about 5 minutes in the first episode. There you go. That's my first death prediction, Bronn.
Lena Headey would love that as well. So, yeah. Okay, so I guess my ultimate question then was, who do you think ends up getting the Iron Throne? Do you think there will be an Iron Throne? Lisa, what are your feelings on that?
I really don't even know if there will be an Iron Throne. Is there going to be anything even left to yeah? So I don't know, but at this point, I really think it's probably going to be Sansa. Even though I'd like Jon and Dany, but I think it's going to be Sansa. So
yeah, I mean, I think I can still see King's Landing burning to the ground. I can see them having to destroy maybe King's Landing in order to save it almost. I can certainly see that happening. I think King's Landing is almost made to be destroyed. It would also be if Dany died, it would also, and Jon potentially. King's Landing would also, it's the hallmark of Targaryen rule in Westeros. They set up King's Landing, so it would be quite fitting for that to be destroyed, and the capital moving somewhere else potentially. That would be interesting.
I think it all depends on whether or not Dany and possibly Jon, as her political ally, manage to have any measure of success in breaking the wheel. This concept that Daenerys has been talking about time and time again over the last couple of seasons. So a complete change in the power dynamic. So from monarchy to a democracy, possibly. Maybe going back to sort of more regional like power spots, so that ultimately Sansa can be the Queen of the North or Queen in the North. I mean, we still don't know. Who knows what's going to happen with Dawn? Do you think they'll ever even revisit Dawn in the final season?
I don't think so. I mean, I
don't
like
think they have time to.
Yeah. I was saying that to you. I liked the idea somebody posited on Geek Chat, like that we might still see Cersei's Dornish captives, but realistically, I think that scene of the mother and the daughter just kind of struggling to get at one another, that's the scene that they'll leave Dorne at, just tied up and gagged, like the Dorne story.
In the physical sense of the battles, because I think we can I think we can all agree that Winterfell's going to fall, whether or not it will be able to, regain its glory at some point in the future. But I think it's going to fall, and it looks like, I mean, from that very first trailer, that was my favorite. I think it was really powerful. And you can see the ice going over it's like a chessboard, going over the wolf, and then it gets to King's Landing, and it's all fire. So if the battle and the Night King on Viserion and the Army of the Dead defeat Winterfell and then make it somehow in their time machine to King's Landing by episode 4 or 5, and they they're not defeated in King's Landing, then where else is there for them to go? I mean, I don't know. Are they just marching south? Is that what is it? Are they just programmed like Sat Nav? Or are they heading to Winterfell specifically for Gilly's baby?
Or, yeah, I mean, if Gilly's baby and Bran both get to escape Winterfell and go south, then they'll keep marching, I think. depending on who they're really after. Sunny says, isn't there a scene in season 1 where Dany walks through a destroyed throne room where it is snowing? I think it's season 2 in the House of the Undying, Sunny. And you're right. Although I like the idea that it may not be snowing, that it might be ash. It would be interesting if they have to use Drogon or something to destroy King's Landing in order to try and save it. I also kind of feel like, I don't know if this is the show, because it's also in the books, there are way more impressive thrones in Westeros. But the throne at Dragonstone is something that is very impressive indeed. And I think, I mean, we've also seen the throne in the Eyrie, Lysa Tully's throne, which Sansa could easily make her own as well if she wanted to. That's pretty much hers now. So I think we could end up in Dragonstone being the throne, especially if Dragonstone was potentially built to, I don't know, maybe because it's on an island, it's safe from the White Walkers, so maybe it was supposed to always be a retreat of some sort. So it kind of might come full circle that way. Actually, there's a question now. Robert Aaron, or Robin Aaron, what do they call him in the show? I can't remember anymore.
Sweet Robin.
Will we see him again?
Oh, the boy that was breastfeeding.
Yeah.
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 Where is he? Because
well, he was.
Because Littlefinger was defender of the Vale or something, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So
the last time we saw
him,
he should be at Winterfell, but I don't think he wasn't at Winterfell in season 7, or at least they didn't show him.
They didn't show
Royce
him.
was doing all the talking, right?
And also the men that are have they just kind of emerged into with Winterfell, the Winterfell soldiers, and because Littlefinger commanded them, didn't he?
Urtash just made my day. Oh my god. Robin Aaron is on the cast list for the first episode, if I'm not wrong, along with Ed Muir.
Yes. Ed Muir. Oh my god.
I love that actor. He is amazing. That scene with him and Jaime is one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, there's so many sort of secondary storylines though to try and
also,
like
where's Ed Sheeran? Is he on that list?
I was so hoping that Arya would separate his head from the rest of his body in that episode.
Yep.
Oh yeah, where's Ed Sheeran?
There's loads of little things like that they probably will have to tie. It could be the case that we're just gonna, like, all of these people will just show up at Winterfell to defend it, and then they'll just knock them all out, like at the end of Harry Potter, where they all show up at Hogwarts, and then like loads of them just die. It's like, get rid of them and them and them. So, yeah, it could be something like that. Thank you so much. I would never even think to check a cast list because I am a lazy YouTuber. Yeah, and the other one, I guess the big one, is Melisandre and her role in all of this. Will she bring anyone with her? And I mean, we haven't even talked about the Greyjoys, but I think they're the last two big kind of groups to talk about, the Greyjoy and Melisandre. I think Mel is going to bring some awesome magical powers with her whenever she shows up again. And as for the Greyjoys, I kind of like your idea about democracy coming. I think part of breaking that wheel will involve Yara, because she is very much in favor of breaking that wheel with Dany, and especially after whatever Euron puts her through. And that's what
somebody was saying in the comments earlier that Yara is probably going to die early on, which I hope she doesn't. I think only one of them can survive between Theon and Yara.
Yeah.
I would prefer it to be Yara, but don't know.
Yeah. No, Urtash, I didn't take offense to that at all. I was just marveling at your skills and attention to detail. So don't worry, my friend. I think I don't know. What do you think, Lisa? Theon or Yara? Will we see either of them survive? Both of them survive?
I kind of like Theon to survive just because of his whole redemption kind of storyline that he's been through. But wouldn't it be nice if it was just all women at the end?
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that very often, do we? So
yeah.
I would like definitely to see Yara survive, but I don't know if they'll just keep Theon with his whole redemption arc that's going through. Euron can definitely just fuck off.
Yeah.
I hate Euron.
I heard the other night. Hot. He was very good looking. Go Google that, ladies and gentlemen. Very good looking.
Speaking of Euron, with him going to get the Golden Company, what do we think is going to happen there? Like, are they just going to land, see all these White Walkers, and say, "Okay, I'm leaving. See you later." You're not paying me enough to fight that, right? Because they're all hired.
Do you think they could attack the Citadel? Do you think that could happen? Because, like, I agree. Like, what are they going to do? Are they just going to hang around and wait for the fight to come to them, or will they bring the fight? Like, it won't be much of a fight once the remaining armies come south. I don't know. I don't
think there will be much thought or strategy to this. They're there because Cersei wants them to be there. She's done a deal with the Iron Bank to defend King's Landing, so they'll be heading to King's Landing under Cersei's command. Euron will collect his prize from Cersei, and the Golden Company will not do a very good job at defending King's Landing when the inevitable happens. I think we won't really get much more from the Golden Company than that. My own personal hope for the Golden Company, or the Golden Plated Company, as I call them, is that they never reach the shores of King's Landing because the Greyjoy fleet and the Golden Plated Company get destroyed and eaten by an ice kraken. There's my budget blown in that episode. Yeah,
I'd buy it. I love it. I'd be happy with that. I'd love it.
But I think what will happen is they'll be in King's Landing and they won't do a very good job.
Well, they're being paid, so once they see what's going on, I'd be like, "See you later, I'm gone." Right?
Yeah.
Or the Golden Company.
They're not loyal to anybody because they're being paid.
Yeah. Or they show up and betray Cersei and Euron and switch sides or something. I don't know. Urtat, that is amazing. I love that idea. What if at the end of the first episode, Jaime arrives at Winterfell with Edmure and forces from the Riverlands? I'd love it. Love it. That would be great. It would make sense for him to ride for Riverrun, for sure. That would be great. I would love that. Ice Kraken. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of since the start of this stream. So thank you, chat and ladies, for getting this idea percolating in my mind. If Arya tells Dany that Varys and Illyria were in on, they were plotting all the time, and Dany decides potentially to hand Varys over to Melisandre if she shows up, and allows Melisandre to do whatever she wants. Because she said she'd burn him, but she didn't necessarily, like, she said she'd give him to the dragons, I think, but she can burn him in a couple of ways. So
Melisandre did seem to have a kind of intimate knowledge of what would happen to Varys and what his future was. I mean, Absolutely. We know that she knows hers. She can see her own future in the flames or any danger that's approaching her, but to be able to know that much about what happens to Varys, then yeah, I think that's a possibility.
I'd like to see Mel and Bran work together in some way as well. I think they'd be very interesting characters to bring together. There's so much potential now going into this last season to bring unusual connections together. Like Sam and Bran, of course it makes sense that they come together, but I didn't really fully appreciate how much I'd enjoy them together in season 7.
So she arrives and she says to Bran, how about a magical collab? And then they just take it from there with the Night King.
Yeah.
I like
Hashtag our magical collab. That would be brilliant. I love it. So anything else, ladies, that you want to discuss, or?
Okay, there's one thing that I've just made a note of here, which is, have we ever seen, this is for everybody, have we ever seen in the TV show so far a white that's, apart from Benjen, who I know is a kind of half white, half human kind of a hybrid, but have we ever seen a known character as a white? Because I think that would be spectacular for the TV show, and I'm convinced that Arya's reaction to what she sees is, yeah, maybe there is some kind of battle with the Night King down in the crypts at Winterfell, but can you imagine if we see whited Hodor, whited Ghost, whited Tormund, whited Beric, Dolores? That would just be like absolutely horrific. It's a kind of Walking Dead sort of thing, and it's like, you see your loved one zombified, but maybe that is or isn't Arya's reaction. But so my question is, have we ever seen in the show so far a known character that's been whited where it's like, oh my god? And if not, do you think that's going to happen at some point in the finale in this season?
They've only shown us the wildlings at Hardhome, right? But do you know who I would love for them to show? It would be great. Oh gosh, I can't think of his first name, but young Royce from the first pilot, from the first episode. I would love if they brought back that actor and he showed up.
I can't even remember who played it. I mean, would we recognize him after all this? I don't know who he is.
I have a very clear image of him in my head for sure, but maybe because I've seen that scene a lot. But that would be cool. It would be a nice little throwback as well to the first season, I think.
Wyman. Urtak says, yes, a very known character is going to be whited this season, I think.
Delra said, I mean, there's loads of potential but I wonder, I can totally buy into Mel or Danny being whited. I can totally see that.
I mean, just as a Night's Queen, as a kind of televisual experience, but also the reactions that you're going to get from the characters, like the cast characters. It's just like, oh my god, on top of everything that we're dealing with, we're now getting people who we love and care about coming back as part of this army of the dead. And if you remember, going back to the Hardhome episode, what was she called? Mother Mole, or the character who saw the children dying and coming back as whites.
I can't remember her name, but yeah.
It's just that horrific like reaction that you're going to get, and I think that's going to look really good as a sort of, as part of the television medium. It would look really good. So yeah, Danny would be brilliant coming back as a white, but
do you know who'd be a cool white? Little Lyanna Mormont.
Oh my god,
that would be so creepy.
Yeah, wow. But I think we're going to get a lot of that. I think we're going to get a lot of characters being completely freaked out. So not just like amazing, battle scenes and choreography, but just genuine psychological terror that with the fights that we have at Winterfell, particularly. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it now. I'm really excited about the battles and Winterfell particularly. I just hope that they try to do. And one of the things that I'm really concerned about is how are they going to do it in the time that they've got 6 episodes, and they're not going to be as long as I thought. I thought they were going to be like little mini feature films each week, like a good hour and a half. But no, they're not.
Well, as long as we get more Missandei and Grey Worm bumping uglies, I'm happy.
Yeah. I'm still looking forward to it though, despite that.
Oh, Lisa, you were saying something, but you were muted.
Sorry. That scene with when they're bumping uglies. Oh God, it made me cringe so bad.
It was so long.
I know. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much sex in this season.
I don't think they have time to, because I was so disappointed when I saw the runtimes. So disappointed. I'm like, where's my hour and a half movie each
so
week?
Funny when you look back at season 1 or season 2 and those long bed naked scenes where like people are just chatting, like they don't like that. They've come such a long way. Now they have the budget to show us other things, I guess, but like initially that was like the big thing about Game of Thrones, that they were showing that.
It's going to have to be fast paced, especially if we're expecting them to tie up a couple of those secondary storylines, the battles that are going to need to take place, trying to tie a few things up, the big sort of fundamental stories and story arcs, and around the magical elements and the prophecies. But I just hope that they don't mess up with just completely eradicating those moments that I really enjoy in the series, those nuanced moments between characters where, okay, we don't necessarily need character development in this season, but just spending a bit of time with some of those characters. And I just hope we don't sort of skip over those type of scenes that I've really enjoyed in the past.
Yeah, I was surprised actually that they were even bringing the Golden Company in, to be honest. I know I can see why they need that, but I was surprised by that in season 7 that was even going to be a thing. That was like, is there time for this? I know she needs them, but yeah.
If they bring in those elephants from the Golden Company and not Ghost, I'll be pissed.
Oh yeah.
Because that CGI budget they can use on Ghost, not on freaking elephants, right?
Yeah, I agree. Is there anyone you'd like to see whited, Lisa?
I know a whited Hodor would just break my heart.
Yeah, I think we have to prepare ourselves for that.
That would kill me. I would no, that would kill me. But I don't know if it would be if Arya's running away from somebody who she loves and knows me, like she's in the crypts. Is it a Stark that she's running from?
It could be Rickon, right? They buried Rickon, so it could be Rickon. He'd be the freshest. Yeah, I don't know if they'll bring back it'll have to be someone that we can really recognize as well.
Yeah.
Like unless it's Lyanna, but I doubt it. She wouldn't recognize Lyanna. So
no, I just think it would be just for that kind of a reaction from Arya it would be somebody that she knows and loves. I don't know.
I mean, I can just imagine actually that if Kyle's right and it is the Night King down there in the crypt, that he's, that scene at the end of Hard Home where he's kind of raising his hands and all the dead bodies start to, he's kind of resurrecting them all. He could just walk through slowly the crypts of Winterfell just with his hands, and he can, all the crypts are kind of pop, 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 and they all get up. And actually, he thinks he's controlling the dead, but these are stark, dead, old kings, and they've got the old magic and the old blood, and I don't know. He thinks he's got control of them, and actually, they haven't. He's just reanimated them. Who knows?
It'd be cool if they do if the Night's King does take Winterfell. It'd be cool to see what they do with the credits. What's the Night King's sigil? That'll be interesting. Ertach says, and we'll remember the lines from Osha. His name was Bruni. He was not himself anymore. Do you remember? I do remember that Osha talking about that in series 1. That would be kind of eerie as well. Oh, and Claire, he has a message for you as well. If Jamie and Sam are really pushing Bran's wheelchair, it means to me that they are trying to reach one of the towers for dragon evacuation. Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
Definitely, because that Bran you will fly thing is kind of, I don't know if they said that in the show. Did they say that in the show?
Yeah, they did, for sure.
Yeah.
I've read so many different theories of people saying that he's gonna warg into Viserion and he's gonna fly that way. I've seen stuff like that floating around, so that would be an interesting take as well.
Well, if he is going to ride a dragon, it would be handy if it was if he was able to control the dragon that the Night's King is currently on. You know, he's on his back at the moment. So yeah,
that would be cool.
That would be pretty cool. But I think again that's going to be part of that like astral play. You know, there's a different plane of existence where this magical battle is going on at the same time as the physical battle at Winterfell and King's Landing. But
I'm kind of, my worry is
how they're going to pack it all into those 6 episodes.
Yeah, I'm worried that they'll destroy Winterfell entirely.
Well, you know, when that's the name, isn't it? Winterfell.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, the wall was only partially destroyed. Do you think they'll rebuild that wall at the end? Will we see the wall go back up? That part of the wall be repaired?
We might see at the end of the last episode some sort of attempt to rebuild another wall for some reason somewhere. I think that'll be part of the sort of story going forward, maybe. But I don't know. I'm just linking some of my book theories in there to the whole thing.
I like the idea that Jorah will be the one to rebuild the Night's Watch. I can follow on from his dad.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But another question is, will we need the Night's Watch and will we need the wall at the end?
That's the big thing. Yeah. That's the big question.
Yeah.
It's it's such an iconic part of the show. Like, we started with the Night's Watch. It would be nice if our last scene was at the Night's Watch, them repairing the wall. Because we started beyond the wall, actually, technically, with the Night's Watch. So, yeah.
I wonder what the very last scene will be and who will be in it. It's just...
I think I was talking to somebody in the chat the other night. It'd be like, do you know that scene in Dallas where Bobby Ewing steps out of the shower and it was all a dream that he died? A similar scene with Bran.
And Ned will just be sat there going, that was some dodgy eggs for breakfast.
Oh, Bran, what did you see in the tower? Yeah, no, that would be awful. God, don't do a Lost on us, please. I think they're very aware of not doing that, though.
Peter Griffin, do you think that inverted Stark sigil we see in the aftermath is the Night King's sigil?
Oh, that's an interesting, yeah. Oof, gosh, that aftermath. Did you see that aftermath teaser? The one where they showed everything basically destroyed in the snow. Did you see that, Lisa?
I don't think so.
No.
It showed
like one. I'll have to look at it.
Winterfell completely destroyed. And then you had you should watch it. It's depressing. Yeah,
it's creepy. It's creepy and sad. Yeah.
It's not footage from the show. They're clearly just trolling us. But,
I wouldn't put it past them though to throw people off. Seriously. Yeah. Did you see that interview with Maisie Williams when she was on, was it Jimmy Fallon? And she said, when I found out when Arya died in episode 2.
Yeah.
That was also aired on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
So,
oh God.
So I wouldn't put it past them to, you know, try to throw people off.
Yeah. By the way, did you see any of the pictures from the premiere the other night? Gwendolyn Christie's dress was incredible.
No, I saw one. I saw it was a kind of reunion picture between what she called Rose, you know, Kit Harington's wife and Amelia Clark.
Oh yeah. That's an awkward reunion.
Did you see the picture of
weren't they going out for a while, Kit Harington and Amelia Clark?
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I think that was the rumor.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that. Did you see the picture of Sansa with Joffrey and her real life fiance standing there going like, what the fuck? That was the picture.
Oh, I've not seen that one. No.
So cute.
So it's on Sophie Turner's Instagram. It was cute.
Yeah, they just all seem like they had such a nice time doing it as well. So I think that's also made the show a success. That everybody just seems to have enjoyed it, because it's hard work to make that show too. So Ertash, thanks so much for being with us. Thank you so much. You did not write too much in the chat. You are always very, very welcome. We are honored to have you here.
Thanks,
best of luck with your Cersei picture. I know you're working on that now at the moment as well. So we're wrapping up now probably anyway. Is there any final thoughts you have going into this?
No, just I suppose to let people know when we're planning to do our review and episode breakdowns each week.
So it'll be at this time except for the first one, which will be Easter Saturday. So we'll talk about that because Lisa has plans. So I can basically do any time, I think, Easter Saturday. I'm not pushed, or Good Friday. It's up. I don't mind.
Good Friday, I am meeting the nail polish hound, going for something to eat with the nail hound. Yeah, she's up this way visiting family, so we're going to meet up on Good Friday. So I'll be busy on Friday, but Saturday is fine for me. Yeah.
So
we'll figure out a time that suits you, Lisa. Early.
Yeah, earlier is better, just because.
What time is there right now?
Summoned by my mother-in-law. Right now it is 10 to 4 here.
Right. Okay. Yeah, earlier is fine for me on Saturday.
So like if we did it about 3 p.m. UK, is that right?
Which is, that would probably work.
Or 2 p.m. Like I'm like, it doesn't matter, whatever. Like we can do lunchtime UK or something. That'll be morning for you then, Lisa.
Yep. Anytime's fine.
Perfect.
As long as I leave here by 2:30 my time.
Yeah,
I'm good.
So we'll do it in the morning on Easter Saturday, guys. So we're going to be Saturdays anyway. So the 20th of April, we'll be doing our first review of episode 1. So we'll have plenty of time to rewatch it. And then from then on, it'll probably be around this time on Saturdays, 7 p.m. UK, for our reviews. I think for one of them I'm with Claire. So that'll be fun.
Yes. Exciting.
And one of them I do have I will have a chemo in the middle of one of them, so it will depend on how I am on that week, on that Saturday. So unfortunately we might have to rearrange that, but we'll make sure to give you plenty of notice. I'm very excited to be back talking to you guys about this anyway.
Me too. I've missed this, to be honest with you.
Yay.
It was such a shame to wait so long between seasons. Yes. #house polish.
Yes. And maybe we can get Lisa in on like the Hedge Night or Fire and Blood or something like kind of easy or something. Even if we were just doing it once a month or something, that would be fun. After the show finishes. But guys, thank you so much to everybody in the chat.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. So enjoy the first episode. I'm sure there's lots of stuff leading up to it. So thank you, Lisa and Claire.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the questions.
I'm so looking forward to just breaking down that first episode with you both. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And as always, Lisa and Claire are linked down below, so make sure and go check them out if you want some awesome nail polish videos. So yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.